Brother, I'd like to begin, as always, by saying I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kwadash, whom I worship. Double, double honors to my teachers of Great Millstone who taught me this word, the other apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this word in sincerity and the truth and who rule well. Salutations be to the hopeful elect that are doing the work all throughout the world. Okay? They are pushing the true doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai out on the highways and byways and hedges, so that they may receive their crowns of salvation. May the Lord grant you his salvation at his appearing, okay? And salutations be to the great cloud of witnesses of Yahshua all throughout the world, no matter what they look like and no matter where they be in the world. But they go back to the great scattering and of Israel, for hundreds and thousands of years, and they are the descendants of those Israelites that have been scattered throughout the world, throughout all the nations, like the prophecy had foretold. Salutations unto you. May the Lord grant you his holy salvation at his appearing. So, just a real quick lesson, and it's dealing with Meshech and Tubal. When you go to the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it describes a couple of nations that Magog was going to protect, and in this last war, right? And how that these nations were going to be joined with Russia, to fight against the beast with seven heads and 10 horns. All right. So we're living in these days. So this topic here is dealing with Meshech and Tubal. Meshech and Tubal today represents the region, what is known as Turkey. All right. Today, it used to be called Constantinople when Jake ruled it, when the Israelites ruled it. Right. It was also known as the Holy Roman Empire. The first king to rule there was Constantine, right? Constantine the Great. And they were Israelites that took on the belief in Yahweh Shai, but they mixed it with paganism. And they called it the Holy Roman Empire, okay? So now that Israel back then, there's some history to that. It was also known as the Byzantine Empire, So the Constantinople was in history taken down by the Turks. Okay, I believe it was a group of Turks known as the Seljuk Turks, and they took that, which were Edomites. Okay, they're known as Turco-Edomite peoples, and they took down the that kingdom, which was known as which was Israelites, like I said, that were going by the identity of as Christians, but they were following paganistic rituals, going back to the Eastern Empire of Rome, which was controlled by the Roman Edomites, right? So that area known as Turkey today went back to the people who inhabited that long ago were the sons, or some of the sons of Japheth, one of Noah's sons, right? They lived after the flood, and they inhabited that area, okay? And they're related to Magog, right? Magog also was one of the sons of Japheth. They inhabited what is known today as Russia. So I got a quick article. I'm gonna read it, and this is from RT, and the title is "Turkey Won't Sanction Russia Despite NATO Pressure." Yeah, the reason why is because Turkey is going to, at the end, join up with Russia. Okay. and they're going to be on the side of Russia, not on the side of NATO. NATO's the beast. All right, and they're gonna be on the side of Russia to fight against NATO, to fight against the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, it said the military bloc secretary general said earlier he expected Ankara to impose punitive measures on Moscow. Turkey is not going to impose sanctions on Russia, but will instead work to maintain dialogue with the Kremlin. Turkey's TRT Haber TV channel reported on Friday, citing Ibrahim Kalin, a spokesperson for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The official clarified that Ankara had no plans to impose sanctions on Russia, adding that the Turkish government was eager to keep the channel of trust open. Kalin also pointed out that Turkey will want to avoid any negative repercussions for its own economy as a result of punitive measures, while denouncing Russia's offensive against its neighbor, Turkey, unlike most other NATO countries, has stopped short of slapping punitive measures on Russia. Ankara instead is seeking to mediate between the two warring sides in the hope of brokering a peace deal, or at least a ceasefire. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told Turkish media on Friday that the alliance expects all our allies to impose sanctions on Russia, and that he conveyed this matter to Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu during their meeting in Antalya. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also met with his Ukrainian counterpart Dmitry Kuleba in Antalya on Thursday. It was the first time the two diplomats had held discussions since Russia launched its military offensive against Ukraine on February 24th. Although the talks failed to yield any breakthroughs, Russian President Vladimir Putin noted on Friday that there had been certain positive developments. The previous 3 rounds of negotiations between Ukraine and Russia had been held in Belarus. President Erdogan presented the Lavrov-Kuleba meeting as a diplomatic victory per se under the circumstances. In a phone call with U.S. President Joe Biden, the Turkish head of state also reiterated that Ankara's role as a mediator between Kiev and Moscow was important in terms of preventing the armed conflict from intensifying even further. Russia's military offensive against Ukraine has seen the U.S., Canada, the EU, Japan, Australia, and several other countries impose a series of sanctions on Moscow intended to cripple the Russian economy. The punitive measure targeted, among other things, Russia's central bank, as well as several major commercial banks, state-funded media, including RT, and Russia's leadership directly. So, NATO, which I believe Turkey is a part of NATO, so something's going to happen to where they're going to pull away from being a part of NATO and join up with Russia and to fight this last war. Now, I found this, I typed in where is Meshech and Tubal, and I guess this is like a little from some kind of Oxford Bible. It's like an Oxford Bible commentary or something. It says, Tubal and Meshech are mentioned together in Ezekiel 38:2. They were the 5th and 6th sons of Japheth, the son of Noah. Genesis 10:2. Some believe these people intermarried and became known as Magog. No, that's wrong. Magog is totally separate from Meshech and Tubal. All right? They're related, right? They're related. They are, what would you say, brothers, whatever, brothers, cousins, whatever, but they're not the same. Magog is Russia, okay? The region known as Russia. Why? Because the children of Magog and Magog inhabited that landmass before, a long time ago. And these people were dark-skinned people, okay? They were just different from the other children of Noah, From these three children, the whole earth was re-inhabited after the great flood. It says the dominant tribe. It said there are two main theories for their location. Russia, that would be Magog, and Turkey, and that's the right one, Turkey. Whichever it is does not change the overall picture, as both are identified by the other names in Ezekiel. Regarding Meshech and Tubal, some assign a Russian identification, which that's not what it is. More is a Turkish, Turco-Edomites, connecting these two nations with the modern Russian cities of Moscow and Tbilisi. They're wrong on that. It says Meshech, Moscow, and Tubal, Tobolsk, which these are wrong. Like I said, the first view became well known through the Scofield Study Bible, that the primary reference is to the northern powers headed by Russia. All agree the reference to Meshech and Tubal, Moscow and Tubal, is a clear mark of identification. They're wrong. Thus, the name Moscow derives from the tribal name Meshech and Tobolos, the name of the principal state from Tubal. We don't know how true that is. It says this view is partly based on the similarity of sound in these names and their close proximity to Russia. If this is so, the names Meshech and Tubal point directly to Russia, being identified with Moscow, and they're wrong on it. It says the capital of modern Russia and Tobolos in Asiatic Russia. Modern Tobolos was founded in 1587 in western Siberia, and from there the Cossacks rode eastward to open up all of Siberia to Russian domination. Meshech and Tubal would then be names standing for Russia in Europe and Asia. And this is from L. Sale Harrison, corroborated this identification on linguistic grounds. Yeah, that was weak. All right, that's not what it is. It says, let's see what it says here. It says, ethnologists, historians who track the migrations of people tell us after the flood, the Japhethites migrated from Asia Minor to the north. Beyond the Caspian and Black Seas, they settled in the area of Rosh. Well, not all of them, mostly the people of Magog. It says that we know today as Russia. Wilhelm Gesenius, the world-class Hebrew scholar, whose Hebrew lexicon has never been surpassed, said Gog is undoubtedly the Russians, right? Gog or Magog. He also identified Meshech as Moscow, the capital of modern Russia. Tubal he identified as Tobolsk, the earliest province in Asiatic Russia to be colonized, and also the name of the city in which Peter the Great built the old fortress after the pattern of the Kremlin in Moscow. Meshech was founder of the Moschki, a barbarous people who dwelt in the Moskian mountains. He went on to say that the Greek name Moschki, derived from the Hebrew Meshech, is the source of the name for the city of Moscow. You're just winging it there, right? You're just winging it there. Is the source of the name for the city of Moscow. We know that Magog is Russia because they're the main superpower in the north up there that is pushing any weight. Okay, not Meshech and Tubal. Meshech and Tubal is a lesser nation than Magog. All right, they don't got the great power like Russia do, and through the spirit we know that Magog is Russia, and not Meshech and Tubal. It says is the source of the name for the city of Moscow. In discussing Tubal, he said Tubal is the son of Rapheth, founder of the Tabarani a people dwelling on the Black Sea to the west of the Mosque. His conclusion was these people make up the modern day Russian people. Well, you're off. Because according to prophecy, Magog would be the stronger nation, not Meshech and Tubal. Meshech and Tubal will join up, be protected by this strong nation known as Magog. Anyway, I'll probably make a part 2 to this. I'll put the link in the description below. But, this is just a little quick, a little study into who Meshech and Tubal is, because these are nations that are going to be joining in battle with Russia. Being on Russian side, which are Magog, which is Magog in prophecy, to fight against NATO, which is the beast. All right, so with that, just Lord willing, I'm gonna continue with that when if the Lord is like I said, if the Lord is willing, I will continue this. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.